business or any entrepreneur there. Hey guys, Joe Richardson here. So I appreciate you guys checking out my channel, clicking on this video to see what I'm about. So I'm actually on my way to Warsaw, North Carolina. So we purchased a house in Warsaw about a couple weeks ago, and I'm on my way down to Warsaw. I'm actually not going to the house right now. I'm actually going to the utilities, the public works building in Warsaw. So when we purchase properties that we're going to rehab, we like to transfer all the utilities into my name or my firm's name, and in order to facilitate the renovations. So with this house, electricity was pretty easy to transfer. It's with the Duke Energy, so it's pretty easy to do that. But however, with water, the water is with the city. I guess it's the way their process is more difficult. I've been trying to call them. I left messages. They haven't returned my message, and they're not picking up. The email that's on their webpage no longer works. Apparently, it's been bouncing back, and their website don't have like a portal or anything for you to start services. So I figure I'll try my luck by driving down and to their actual building and see if I can get the water switch over to my name. Then afterwards, I will stop by the house and do a real quick walkthrough. I'll shoot another video with the walkthrough to show what we've done so far. We have one of our contractors been working on the house. So I just want to check out and see the progress on that. With this video, I actually just wanted to, while I'm driving down there, just I guess it's been a while since I actually talked about myself or introduced myself to my subscribers, I guess. I guess recently I decided to consolidate my YouTube channels into this channel. This channel before was, because I'm a real estate broker as well as a real estate investor, I had two separate YouTube channels. One was, this channel was focused on the broker side of my business, and the other channel was focused on my investment properties. However, I decided to consolidate all the content on this channel and just rename it just Real Estate with Gerald Richardson. So basically what the intent of this channel is to pretty much for buyers, sellers, investors, provide advice based on what I do on my journey with real estate, both as a real estate broker and as an investor. So that's the intent of this channel. So I just really want to I guess shoot a video to talk a little bit more about that. And also, unfortunately, and I guess fortunately, unfortunately or fortunately, depends on how you look at it, with the type of business that I'm in, with working and providing a service to folks or working with folks as far as purchasing their house. These folks will only work with you if they know you, or if you can travel, if you can establish some kind of rapport or some kind of trust. And the only way you can do that really is for them to get to know you. And one way to do that is by building an online presence. So I guess that's going to be my focus for this coming year, is to put myself more out there, build up my online presence. Really, I'm a private person, but again, with what things are, how businesses are right now, people will only work with you if they trust you or if they know you. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about myself while I'm on my way to Warsaw. Let's see where to start. So I grew up as a military brat, military dependent. I spent most of my high school in upstate New York. I went to undergrad college at the University of Buffalo, where I got a degree in industrial engineering with a minor in mathematics. While at UB, I was an Army ROTC, What, and I was also a walk-on player on the men's basketball team. So after UB stands for University of Buffalo, I received my commission into the United States Army, and I was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which is in Fayetteville. I was with the 82nd Airborne Division. That's what brought me here in North Carolina. I was active duty with the 82nd. I did deployments to Kosovo and Afghanistan. When I left active duty, I got a job as a government contractor that had me working in Virginia. My next job after that, I ended up getting a job with a power company, which brought me back to North Carolina. At the power company, I worked as a strategic engineer. Eventually, I worked as a portfolio manager. Also got my MBA from Duke University. So I guess that's one of the reasons why you see me Brandon Duke University. That's as part of my header. I pay for it. I pay for the degree, so I'm going to use it, or at least let people know that I have it. So yeah. So while I was getting my MBA, I ended up co-founding a boutique real estate firm back in 2008. And as you guys know, 2008 wasn't the great time to get into real estate. That's when we started to have our market slowdown in the real estate. And here in Raleigh-Durham area here in North Carolina, we weren't hit as hard as other places in the country because our prices at the time was still moderately reasonable, and our economy was still very strong. So the real estate market wasn't hit as strong as in other places, but we did. It was still very difficult for folks to buy a home during that time because the lenders went extra strict on their lending guidelines, and folks who were already homeowners couldn't sell because they were underwire on the mortgage, so they couldn't sell their houses. So during that time, the folks that were doing anything real estate wise were new construction, investment properties, and foreclosures. With new construction, only folks that were in new construction were the larger builders, larger tract builders in the area, where the smaller builders or custom builders pretty much gone out of business, or they end up going to rehabbing homes, doing home renovations and stuff, and not so much building homes. So with this market slowdown and us just starting our business, we had to quickly pivot our business model. And one of the things that we did end up doing was, on the new construction side, was that we had working agreements with several of the builders in our area, where they allow us to bring in our clients, our buyers, to them, for them to go into contract for a new home. Typically, it takes about 4 to 6 months for homes to be built, especially back then. So in that 4 to 6 months, while our buyer was under contract for the new home, we worked with them in order to help with their credit, or help them get their credit to the point where they will get approved on a loan, to buy the house. So in the 4 to 6 months, while our buyers were working on their credit, and while the house is being built, the house serves as like a motivation for them to do what they need to do. So a lot of our business back then was doing that on the new construction side, and the other side was we ended up getting a lot of master listing agreements with HUD, Housing, Urban, and Development government entity, where HUD was selling their properties. With HUD homes, what that is, that HUD homes are homes that were purchased with an FHA loan, and because FHA loans are guaranteed by the U.S. government, and when the homeowner defaults on the loan and the bank forecloses on them, the bank ends up selling those houses back to HUD back to HUD, and HUD will end up taking those homes and pushing it back and put it on the market or selling it on the market. And so they push it down to listing agents, which my firm was one of the listing agents. So we sold a lot of HUD homes. We also had master listing agreements with other REOs and banks, bank-owned companies. REO means real estate owned. So those were the foreclosures, that part of our business. And on the investment side, so because during the time, lenders were very strict on approving loans for regular buyers. A lot of the buyers that end up taking advantage of this were investors that had cash available or ways to get financing that wasn't very restrictive. So a lot of our business was also working with investors, especially with the contacts that we made while listing bank foreclosures and HUD homes. What I ended up doing during that time was, with working with investors, was in addition to listing our HUD homes and bank foreclosures, working with the investors directly. So a lot of these investors that we worked with were folks who already had 9-to-5 jobs. So they weren't real estate investors full time. So they needed somebody to help them with the renovations, getting a house, pretty much serving as a project manager. So that's what I did. I served as a project manager. I helped them get the home, coordinate with the renovations, with rehab, and serve as a project manager on the ground for a fee. So I did that part as part of my business back then. And you may ask, why? How come I just didn't do my own flips? Especially during that time. So with our master listing agreement with both HUD and with a lot of these banks, they prohibit us from purchasing foreclosures ourselves. So that's why we weren't able to do flips on our own, because our contract wouldn't allow us to do that. So that's why I ended up helping other investors with the rehabs in that regards. And once the market started to ease up a little bit, and folks sellers started to look into selling our homes or put it on the market, we end up adding or developing our business model even further, where sellers who wanted to sell their home try to get as much as they can for the house, but the house was either dated or it needed repairs. So they would come to us, and we didn't do this for all the sellers, but only the sellers that where the numbers make sense, where they would come to us, and we would help them fix their home up. We would even cover the renovation costs up to a certain amount for an extra fee for when we do sell the house. So we did several of those type of deals, especially as the market started to ease up and sellers were wanting to sell their home on the market. Again, like I said, we didn't do this for all our sellers, but only the sellers where the numbers work and it makes sense to do that. So that was our business back then. And as the market changes, like with any entrepreneur or business owner, that they have to make pivots. So we transitioned back into more of a traditional real estate firm, where at one point I was managing up to 5 other agents as a broker in charge and principal broker. But as the market started to change again, where a few years ago or a couple years ago, while our master listing agreement with the banks ended, I end up, and also I also saw how the market was changing more to how it currently is, where it was difficult for buyers to find homes or buy homes. There's a lot more competition, less homes, more buyers and homes available. And I saw that was coming, down the line, where at one point we were working with as many as 35 to 50 buyers at one time, and it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me in this market where it takes about at least 12 showings, and or even that many offers to be submitted for one buyer to actually go under contract for one home. So times that 12 offers times by 35 to 50 buyers, and I saw that wasn't sustainable, and I saw that coming. So what I ended up doing was pivot again, where where the contract ended with HUD and with these banks, where I was allowed to do my flips again. So my focus for the last few years was to focus back on my flips and my own investment properties. So that's what I've been doing. I haven't been working with many buyers as I have in the past. I intentionally, it's very intentional, where I intentionally only work with a handful of buyers who I deem are well qualified and ready to deal with this type of market. And also buyers who were referrals from my previous clients, or even my previous clients. I don't take in as much new buyers as I have in the past, and again, it's because of the market. I don't have the time to put in 12 offers and hope to go on the contract on the one home. And a lot of these buyers now in the current market aren't ready. They don't have the due diligence funds necessary, or the money saved up that you will need now in order to buy a home. A lot of these buyers are losing out to other buyers who have cash. So it just didn't make sense to me. So again, I pivot a few years ago, where I ended up doing my own flips and only working with a handful of buyers. I also do work with sellers too. I even adjusted my pricing model for my sellers, where I'm doing a 1% listing fee for sellers to help still provide them full service as a listing agent, but for a 1% fee. Admittedly, I don't get as many sellers as I thought I would with this new pricing structure. I think it may be more into the way the current market is, and that there's not that many homes available, and sellers who do want to sell their homes are not able to sell their home because they won't be able to buy their next home with the current market. So I think that's how it is right now on my seller side, even with this new pricing adjustment I did. But yeah, most of my business the last few years have been on flips, intentionally flips. I have done some wholesaling and hoteling for a few houses that I've done, and currently I am transitioning again from flips into the BRRRR investment strategy. If you guys don't know what BRRRR is, so BRRRR is B and 4 R's, R. So it means buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. So that's a new investment strategy that I'm doing right now. Currently, we have several homes in Rocky Mount, and we have one in Smithfield that we're currently working on. We also have a large flip in Durham that we're going to keep as a flip, but that's for our current projects. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing now, and that's pretty much what's going on. I appreciate you guys checking out this video. checking out my channel. I just ask for you guys to subscribe and just follow along as I continue on this journey. Yeah, stay tuned on this new update video on our current project in Warsaw. Go check it out. Hopefully I can get the water turned on at the public sprinkler. We'll see. All right, appreciate you guys tuning in. Comment below if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.